Wache, ani, bonjour. Hello to all of our non-Indigenous friends. You're watching Shabakwe Da, which is Let's Cook Together. It's our cooking series at the Indigenous Sharing and Learning Center at Laurentian University. I am Natalie, aka Native Nat. I will be one of your cooks. And to my right,
I am Em, the real cook.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. So today we're going to be making a Mooz Meat Pie, and this is a recipe that we're adapting from Em's family.
Yeah, so we're going to take a traditional recipe and adapt using Mooz Meat Pie, but you can really use any kind of meat that you'd like. So today we're using about a pound of moose and would be a pound of pork mixed together. You can use veal, beef, venison, anything you like, really.
Yeah, awesome. Let's get to chopping.
So today we're doing our first portion of the recipe, which is boiling the meat. And in this meat, we're going to be using lots and lots of onions, lots of celery, and a variety of spices. So you can use whatever you want. And we're going really heavy on the onion and celery today because that's what we like.
Woo! And just like that, all the onions are cut.
Easy peasy. So we use 3 onions here, up to you how many you want to use. And now we're using celery. So you may have some nice celery and some not so nice celery. So if you're worried about the ones that are a little bit bruised, you can still use this. You don't necessarily need to chop it up. You can just kind of throw it in there for flavor. So we're going to use this side and the stem for flavor. Put that aside. And we're going to trim and chop our celery just like magic.
Does it so good.
So now we have our celery, finely chopped, onions, not so finely chopped. You can cut this as small as you would like. And we're going to throw all of this into a big container with our moose meat combined with pork meat. And we're going to add some water and some spices to make it delicious.
11 herbs and spices?
Not quite. Go in. Full stalks of celery for flavor. We'll remove these later. Lots of celery. And we have it here with our nice chunks of meat, and we're going to add some water. Depending on the size of the batch that you're making, you're going to want to add just enough meat to cover all your ingredients. And now we wait. We let this simmer for probably 2 hours until we're about ready. So we'll come back to you in just a little moment.
Tell us what spices we're going to be using, Em.
Well, so today we have 4 spices that we're using along with our onions and celery to add some flavor. So this first one is marjoram.
Let's show them closer.
Yeah, this is a nice fine herb, and we're going to put about 1 tablespoon. I'm going to be generous in there. We're also using spices that complement wild meat. So these are good with moose and venison. So we're using allspice.
Which you can buy at your local grocery store.
And so this one, probably half a teaspoon. We're using some lovely nutmeg. Also goes very nice with venison and moose.
I didn't know that.
So lots of fall spices are really nice with these types of.
Smells delicious.
And finally, cinnamon. I use a lot of cinnamon, so I don't buy the best quality necessarily, but this will do just fine. Some nice no-name cinnamon. You could buy fresh cinnamon bark and grind it yourself if you're really hardcore, but today we're going to add these.
All about the no-name brands here.
We're going to use these 4 spices to add a little bit of flavor, and this is going to boil with our meat for about 2 hours. We're going to taste it and add a little bit of different spices if you feel that you need that.
Well, can I taste it?
No.
I wouldn't know to add more or less.
Let's take a look. It's coming in along nicely. I'll let that simmer for about another hour or so, and we're almost there. Oops, almost there. So our meat has been boiling, and now we're going to add a generous serving of salt and pepper. And we're going to have a quick taste and see if we need to add more. By the smell of it, I don't think so, because it smells really good.
It does.
Go. Time to drain the meat.
And why are we saving that water?
We're going to make a really nice gravy with that water afterwards. So we're letting all the fluid and the fat drain out, and we're going to let this sit over the fridge, in the fridge overnight. We're going to scoop some of that fat up and make a really nice gravy. So then we assemble our pies tomorrow, and we'll have another taste test.
Perfect. Day two.
Very excited. So today we are assembling our meat pies. So yesterday we boiled our meat with our celery and onions and spices. We let that sit in the fridge overnight. So the meat's all cooled, and the liquid from the meat is going to be made into a nice gravy. So this is what it looks like the day after. You can see there's a little bit of fat there. You can remove as much of that as you want. We're going to keep it. So wild meat tends to be a little bit lean, so you want to add some of that fat in there. So this sauce is going to be helpful when we assemble. We're going to use a little bit of Bisto. You could use darkened flour or cornstarch, and we're going to make a nice thick gravy out of this lovely sauce. Stay tuned. All right, so we're moving over to our dough now. So our gravy is boiling, our meat's ready from yesterday. So for the dough, we're gonna follow the recipe on the Tender Flake box, right? There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. So we're using a package of Tender Flake. You're gonna need about 5.5 cups of flour. You need an egg, very important, some salt. You'll need a couple of butter knives to cut up your dough, and a nice rolling pin to work your dough. We are not grandmas, we're not grannies, so it's not going to be as good as if it was your mom or your granny, but we're practicing, so we're going to get there nice and slow.
I just read the Tender Flake, and I found out that our old family recipe, not an old family recipe.
Okay, so in your large bowl, you mix together 5.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You can use cake or pastry flour if you want. Not for us. And we're gonna
Robin Hood is our jam.
Robin Hood all the way. And 2 teaspoons of salt. You want to mix that together with a knife, maybe?
Shift it.
The best part about this is that all your instructions are right here. So no need to guess. So now we've mixed, that's why you want an apron. So now we're gonna plop in our big chunk of lard into the dough.
The whole thing?
The whole thing. Woo! Woo! So this is the fun part. You can use 2 knives to cut your lard apart till it kind of looks like crumbly oatmeal, crumbly dry oatmeal. If you have some fancy tools, use those tools. We're just going to use 2 knives, and you're just going to cut through that and blend it in with
that's fun.
flour.
You're like a ninja, a kitchen ninja.
So while Nat's doing that, the only thing that we need to add now, once this is all blended, is an egg with water and vinegar. So let's take a look. We need to go a little bit further, so we're going to wait another 5 minutes. We're going to make Nat work, and we're going to get our egg ready.
You're like a praying mantis.
So Nat did a great job. Look at our nice flour, lard, and salt mixture. So now obviously you need to add some moisture to this. So in this cup, we have a cup of cold water. I'm adding a tablespoon of vinegar, good old no-name white vinegar. That's all you need, and 1 egg.
Preferably from a chicken.
You know what? I don't think it matters. Whatever egg you
Really?
want. Yeah, I figure it's a binder, right? So go crazy and add whatever kind of egg you want. So here we have it, our mixture. So now we're going to go into this dough with our hands, and we're going to incorporate some of this moisture. And our gravy overflowed. Took a quick little break from our dough to check on our nice gravy. So as you heard, it overflowed. So you don't want to make something that's boiling way too much. You want a slow simmer. We added about 1/3 cup of Bisto. Like I said, you can use something else if you want. And it's starting to thicken up. So we're going to add this to our meat pies when we assemble them. Okay, so back to the dough.
So we just checked on our gravy. Well, Em checked on the gravy while I went and did an errand. Everything seems to be going well with the gravy, which I'm really happy about. That seems to be the bread and butter of the pie. Always, right? And now Em is going to get messy in there with the dough after adding her egg, vinegar, and water.
That's right. So you see it's got a good consistency. It's a bit crumbly.
That's me. That's me.
That's not hard work. You whisk this up and you're going to add just a little bit at a time. So at first, I just use a spoon to get started. A real dough maker is going to go in there with their hands and they know exactly how much to work the dough and how long to do it for. So if you have an auntie, or my dad actually does a lot of dough. If you have somebody like that in your life, you go watch them work.
Em's going to do it since she has the apron.
I have the apron. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Very good.
I did lots of
No, you're not going to two-hand it?
Not yet.
No way.
No.
Okay. This is where I think I go wrong when I make dough, because I always two-handed and then I have like just dough hands, dough fingers.
Yes. You always need a dry hand and a wet hand. Okay.
Write that down.
Yeah. So you see we're getting to a good consistency. We're getting there.
Are we allowed to eat it like cake though?
You can do whatever you want, but it's not that delicious at this point. You can if you want.
So it's been 40 minutes. No, just kidding.
So this time it didn't take very long at all. You can do lots of mistakes, and the more mistakes you make, the faster you learn. So last time I know I used the wrong flour. I used a little bit too much of it. So this time it's looking pretty decent. You want it to cling together. I think experts would say that this is too wet. So what we're going to do now is take about half, and we're going to roll it out onto the counter with lots of flour to make sure it's not too sticky so that we can start our first pie shell.
Yay! So Em, tell us what you're doing here.
So now we're going to try and roll out our dough very nicely. We're using a little bit of flour on the base because you don't want it to stick to your counter. And once you make that mistake once, you'll remember forever.
Or you can throw it down like BAM! That's what I would have done, but you know, to each their own.
As a wise chef once said. And in this case, we're using these pie plates. If you have a real tin one, that's the best. My grandma said glass plates are no good. So she likes the tin ones. A real tin one is better than this, but this is good as a gift. You can give that stuff away. And we're going to take about half our dough. You know what? Let's make it a quarter. Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the base of our first one.
So exciting.
So if there's an expert online watching right now, be kind. We're learning. I'm going to put a little bit on top and get in there with the good one.
That's where you need some good forearms.
Yeah, this is my grandma's rolling pin, so it's got lots of love.
Cool. You know what? My grandmother has the same rolling pin. Does it have that base thing that you put it in? Yes. Yeah.
It does.
So go ask your grannies.
You got it?
More flour? It's been another 40 minutes. Just kidding.
We're not that slow.
Look at that pie crust.
Not bad. My mom would tell me that it's a bad shape.
Well,
you got to be round, right? You want to try and make it as round as you can.
Like the medicine wheel, guys. Aim for the medicine wheel.
Circle is always the greatest shape. I'm pretty pleased with this.
I'm pretty pleased as well.
I think it's not bad.
So, what do we do next?
First one, so bend it in half. This is a good thickness as far as I'm concerned. And we're going in to make the bottom of our shell. You want to readjust a little bit. Readjust. And
fabulous.
We're going to cut all the way around. And now we're going to make
Is this my butter knife part?
This is the butter knife part.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Pause. And pause.
So the best part is when you can set yourself up in a kitchen and make like 12 pies in one day. If you're going to do all this work, may as well make it worth your while.
Sounds like she knows experience from this.
These beautiful scraps will be used for later.
Are we going to make little designs on top of the pies?
We can make little designs.
Yay!
So there's our bottom. Let's work on the top. Sometimes in life, things don't work out. So we're making 2 pies today, 2 meat pies. The first one was beautiful. The second one, less beautiful, but still will be delicious. So when you are working your dough, you have to have that fine touch, I think. And also you really want to let your dough sit for a little while so that the gluten really works and it becomes more sticky. If you work it too much and you add too much flour, it can become a little bit drier, but this is the bottom. And so all that delicious meat and gravy is going to go on top and you won't know any different.
And I know some of you at home probably think I did the second one, but she made both. So our next step is making the tops of our pies. We are letting our gravy cool right now. We have our meat out to fill our pies with. And M, always the working bee. I'm basically just here for commentary. So same thing as last time. So work that dough. Work it, work it. So now we are filling our pies with our nice Mooz meat, our onions, celery. Oh, just gonna have to watch those pies. I might dip into them.
So we're using probably 2 cups of ground meat. And you know what? Let's go for a little more.
Right? Might as well.
So that's a big piece of celery.
Not putting that in there.
These you remove. And remember, you can do this with any kind of meat that you want, any mixture of meat that you want, really. So about 2 cups of meat.
My favorite part.
Gravy. So you don't have to do this. We always do this because it tastes extra good.
Oh my God, yes. If you're not throwing gravy in, you're not doing pie right.
So I'll say a generous 1/3 of a cup.
And again, we made this gravy from the fat from our boiling of our meat. Always the best way to do it. Top of our pie crust going on.
Not terrible.
Perfect.
Not terrible.
I think it looks great.
I think my mom would have a few comments. But
well, our mamas ain't here, are they?
I think that this is not bad for a couple aunties in the training. So now you have a meat, you want to make it a little bit pretty, and you pinch all the way around. And also,
oh my God, that does look so cool.
We're gonna pre-bake these. So if you did a whole bunch, you could put them into your freezer and then you'd be ready for the holiday season. Or you can do it for supper. So I think that's what we're gonna have for supper tonight, me and Nat.
Great.
You can be fancy with this. This is not so fancy, as you can see.
Yeah, it's losing its touch as you go around. Just kidding, it looks pretty good.
So you pinch all the way around to make sure it's a nice seal. And you also want to make sure that you have vent holes for the steam to come out. Oh, because you're going to bake this now. So your meat's already cooked, but you want to at least bake this a little bit before you give it as a gift or before you warm it up for supper. And I think we should add a little, little flair or something. What do you see on your family meat pies?
Can we make a mousse?
Can you make a mousse? I think you should try and make a mousse out of dough.
I'm going to try right now. So I made my mousse. I think that's pretty good.
I think it looks like a mousse.
It
looks like a mousse.
Yeah, nice big rack on it.
So now we preheated our oven to 350, 385, and you're going to put this in until it gets golden crispy. A good tip is to keep it on the lower baking rack so that the bottom of the crust gets nice and crispy and doesn't get all soggy. So we're going to put that in and keep an eye, and we're going to assemble the rest of our meat pies.
You know, it's funny. I just heard a joke too about Native people and only using their oven at 350. So perfect. Okay, so when you do something perfect, you do something perfect. We just got to give props to Emily here.
Also, I think a good lesson is that you have to practice a lot and then never give your first attempt to your guests. Right. You know, you save that one for your family where no one really cares what they're eating. And then the nice ones you give to your friends and family. Yeah. So there you go.
Oh, man.
We're going to pinch. Maybe Nat can make another little decoration for this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is going to be.
What do you guys want to see?
Look at that view.
Boom!
Can you
Get in
see-
there. Get in there closer with
Can you
that
see
beaver.
that little beaver.
Yeah.
Good job, Nat.
I'm here for the artistic ability and
Yeah.
commentary.
Absolutely.
And we are actually making this for our boss, Mary, for Christmas. So. So we are all finished. Em is just currently taking the pies out of the oven right now. Don't drop it. And here we go.
This is our
Ooh, our moose pie.
This is so
And our
beautiful.
suck up pie. I'm just kidding.
This is so beautiful.
Oh, very good. Oh, that's hot. Ooh.
So if you wanted to save this for later, you could let it cool and then put it in the freezer and then warm it up at 250 or 350 for a little bit. Or you could cook it a little bit longer and then eat it right now. So it's up to you how you want to do that. You can serve this with the gravy that we already made. I like cranberry sauce.
Oh, that's a nice little touch.
I'm opposed to ketchup, but you can do what you want.
It's a native tartar sauce. We use that for our fish.
Nice. So these are our meat pies. I hope that you learned something.
Yep.
Learned what to do and learned what not to do.
I sure did. Thanks for joining us, guys.